This video is definitely for you if you're a founder of B2B service business and you're secretly afraid that your sales might just stop. If every month feels like a roller coaster, one week you have full of leads and then no sales for the next 2 months, and if deep down you know you want out of day-to-day selling, but you also know that nobody is selling like you do because you know the product and the service better than anyone, after implementing the steps from this video, you will finally be able to exit sales. You can go on, focus on strategic planning, launching micro offers, but sales after you reach 1.5 mil in revenue should be delegated. And that's what we are here to do today. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Lera, and after 5 years of marketing and sales career in Berlin and having closed $380,000 worth of deals last year, I decided to take on a voyage to Barcelona and step into my entrepreneurial journey. I run 2 businesses. One, Steadfast Agency, helps founders like you run B2B sales systems. And my second business, Eloquent Wines, is poetic wine box delivery. The first step that I would do if I'd want to exit sales, I'd run a revenue audit because we want to be crystal clear of where the money is actually coming from. Because sometimes when you actually map the money and you trace the channels where it's coming from, 90% of the time it's not what you think. So I would use like a Miro board or a Notion board, and I would start gathering data. I'm pretty sure that you have it somewhere written down on the notes, then on your iPhone, then in this Google Sheet file, and then somewhere saved in your WhatsApp or Telegram group. So I would start with having crystal clear numbers for the last 2 years. Get those numbers together for the last 24 months. Why? Because we want to see a trend and we want to understand the seasonality, not by just your gut feeling, but by real numbers, okay? Step number 2 would be to draw a high intent trigger map, because we want to know why, especially in B2B, right? The cycles are very long and it's a lot of personality involved of a seller. So we want to be sure what is the intent, what is their burning problem that they are ready to sign off today. So we want to have like a trigger map, what I call. It can be, again, a Miro board. Keep in mind that all of the things that I'm talking about, you will be handing off to the next salesperson. And you don't know this person. You don't know what type of personality he has. You don't know the logic map that he has. So you need to make it like very structured and clear. And the high intent map should also involve not only the data from your past 24 months, but also the research that you're gonna do like in the current market. So you can do customer development, you can, if you have the budget for that and if you have time for that, you can run some tests with Clay, for example. You can run some outreach tests with LinkedIn Sales Navigator filters just to see what is actually a high intent in this moment and what you think is the high intent of buying this service. Step number 3, once you get the audit and trigger map in place, of course, you need to implement a sales dashboard. We need to be able to wake up at 3 a.m. any morning and be like, oh, by the way, how much money am I making? And you want to have like a real-time dashboard. I think depending on what tools you're going to have, if you're like very standard service company, many of you use just Google Sheets. Back when I used to work in Berlin, we used just Google Sheet data and we brought it into our Looker Studio to visualize it, which is a very powerful tool. And actually I had one more company where I worked, we did exactly the same. It's very powerful. You don't need anything like too complicated like Power BI or whatever, because you're just at like 1-2 mil a year. That's not too big of a volume. So you want to have a clear real-time overview of all the revenue coming in. And then after that, that's going to change your life if you still haven't done that. The data should automatically flow into your cost and into your accounting department so that you know in real time your margins, so that you don't have to do it once per month and like gather all the numbers and so on and whatever. You want to have it like automatically on a daily real-time basis. By the way, before I forget, please like and subscribe if you like it so far. Then step number 4. Yeah, I know that you're a founder and you think that nobody is gonna sell your product better than you do. Okay, I understand that many of your sales are coming from your network, from people liking you, or from you just like being active. Okay, but we want to have something like instinct playbook. Okay, so many founders, they actually get stuck at this because they think, this person, they actually, some of you have tried to like hire a sales manager, and you just hire them and you expect them to be thinking like you and to be selling like, I don't know, deals worth of like 2 mil a year, so that you in 3 years can grow to 10 mil. At least this is your calculation, right? That does not work like this at all. If a sales manager for 50K a year would be able to think like you and operate like you, they'd be running your competitor business. Okay, so you want to have like instinct playbook for the person that you're gonna hire. We're gonna speak about the hiring, or whether you already have like someone in place. We're gonna speak about the role brief in a moment, but you want to have like instinct list, right? That you want to transfer the knowledge of this gut feeling onto someone. And this is actually one of the parts where a lot of people get stuck, because they're like, I can't describe it. If he doesn't understand, he doesn't understand. No, you have to spend like weeks on this, and you need to nail this, okay? Because otherwise you will always be unhappy with your SDRs. Maybe, by the way, you don't need an SDR, you just need a biz dev. Maybe you need a closer. We don't know. I don't know your lead gen, and I don't know, because you haven't done audit. I have no idea where your actually revenues coming in this year. However, you need to have those instincts in place, because whomever we hire, we will want to teach in a structured way, and we will want to pass all your wisdom, sales wisdom, to that person. So step number 5 would really depend whether you already have like a salesy, account manager, whatever person in place. So if you have them, then you will have to go deep into coaching mode, at least for 2 weeks with this person. I suggest, if you have the resources, then find a facilitator to help you like communicate what you're trying to do to that person. So when you have like this instinct playbook in place and you have revenue audit, you can be very open to the salesperson, like, okay, so this is what was happening, here's my like gut feeling, here's how I sell. At this point, you should also, if you are doing sales calls yourself on a daily and weekly basis, you should definitely ask to record them and do sales transcripts with ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is not objective as we are, or like sales manager is, and it's gonna point you into direction where strong points are. So it's gonna do like a SWOT analysis of your sales transcripts. Okay, so you either, if you have already sales in place, then you go into this coaching mode and transcription analysis mode. And if you don't have sales hired, then you go into briefing the role. So whether you're gonna hire a recruiter or be trying to look for someone yourself, you need to be clear what the values of the person should be and your company's. So when you're gonna write a role brief, you shouldn't just write, okay, it's a remote job and you will be selling some products. No, you should be saying like, you should be selling this position, because the right people will be attracted if you sell to the right people. Like when we go on a job board, it's also that we are like selling to candidates. Okay, so you don't want someone who will be irresponsible and not showing up, or being late to like prospect calls, which is like the worst in SDR. Sometimes also when you're hiring, of course, you're gonna have this mistake that, he seems nice and I'm pressured by time, I want to do this by Q4, but something is off, but I don't know why, what's off, but I'm gonna hire this person. And then, after like 5-6 weeks of onboarding, the cracks start to appear. I really suggest that you spend a lot of time on this briefing of the role, and on the value communication, and on your like task that you're gonna give to candidates, because you wanna make sure that the soft skills are in place. Without soft skills, never hire a salesperson, okay? So then you go into onboarding sprint, which also be prepared parallel to the recruitment process, and you set realistic KPIs out of the revenue audit that you had. You cannot expect your sales manager to be onboarded within 6 months and then close X for your annual revenue. Like, this is crazy. Do something that is realistic and mathematically achievable. Know your close rate, know your opportunity rates, know the lead generation possibilities and capacities that you have and how many SQLs you have incoming bi-weekly basis. Only then you can like set KPIs to the sales manager. You can be like, okay, so we know that I'm selling worth of 200K in this month. So I suppose that you're going to be selling like from 100 to 140 the first 6 months, because you still need to get used to the product and the job and the audience and so on. So set realistic KPIs. And here, once again, we're coming back to cold transcripts and intuition transcripts, what I call. So this is something where, as a end of the onboarding of sales or recoaching the sales that you already have, you need to have like a final test, intuition test to this sales manager in order to be sure that he got it, okay? So that he got the values, he got the product, he got the way you want him to communicate, because when you tell to someone once, it's not like, oh, okay, they got it. Remember, you didn't hire a stupid person, okay? You hired them for something. Just try to be in their shoes and transfer, again, your wisdom in a structured way to that person. Step number 6 would be what I call CRM revival and tracking implementation. So there are many day-to-day cool tools that you can use. Like, I think if you, for example, if your main revenue channel is LinkedIn, then the CRM that I'd recommend just personally would be Breakcold, because yeah, they are just modern day-to-day, very pleasant UX CRM, right? And because you want to know where the leads will be coming from, where the deals will be coming from. You don't want any surprises along the way with the new sales manager, because he also needs clarity, okay? He's new, everything is confusing to him. So you want to focus only on one thing that is working, which is step number 7. For 30 to 45 days, just focus on one channel that brought like 70-80% of revenue. Would that be LinkedIn? Would that be offline events? Would that be network and community groups? Just triple down on that. Don't double, triple down on that. Because you want to get as much revenue in order for the sales manager and for yourself to validate the idea that you are actually exiting. Because by now, by step 7, it will be like month 2, 3 of the changes. So you will be pretty tired already. You will not be sure if this is like working or going into the right direction. And the best way to validate the direction is to see the money. that definitely works, but you need to earn it. And in order to earn it, like the quickest way is to go in the channel where you know it's just there. Have a daily plan for your sales manager, have weekly insights and report in your dashboard, so that you can still sort of control the results of the work a sales manager is doing, and do a test for different messaging styles, if it's network, for example, or like community groups, just to know what's working best. Because also remember that this community knows about you, but they don't know about the sales manager. So test the messaging, like how is the sales manager going into that community? Is he going and saying, oh, I'm the next predecessor after after the founder? Or is he, what works best, that type of approach, or the approach where he goes and he's like, okay, I'm here, I know how to solve it, I have new innovative way how to solve it, let's talk? Or there's a third or the fourth way, whatever. Just like also test this and see which position he should like pick as a salesperson. And the last but not least, once you have validated and some revenue has come in through the channel that brought you before like 70-80% of revenue, and some KPIs are being met, and some operational questions and the SOPs of a sales manager have adjusted to the reality, the step number 8 would be a final step. So we don't want to bring you out of the picture completely, but we want to do something like we don't want you to be on sales calls for sure. We don't want you to be on meetings that are not like worth of value. Like if it's just like a 10K value meeting, then I'm sure you have much more important things to do. Of course, if it's still a deal of like $500,000, then if your revenue at this point is like 1.5, then you shouldn't trust $500,000 deal to your sales manager. So we want to have like a proven content plan that will generate this visibility that you are still out there, that you are still running the business. Maybe start, if you are on LinkedIn, maybe start not outreaching and selling your services, but focus on the inbound and the PR side, because by now I'm pretty sure you started to think about your micro office, about some strategic movements that you want to make in the company, because the sales ops are not part of the picture anymore and you're not that scared because you already saw the revenue. So do some content around like, okay, who am I? What have I done? There are great examples on LinkedIn of that. Like many CEOs, they don't sell their services, of course, in their content. They just write about what they think because they're thought leaders by now. And you are also a thought leader. So you should just adjust your content plan. And then one of the last things to do before you fully exit sales, you want to have an escalation protocol. So you don't want to trust $500,000 worth of deal to a sales manager that yes, he's performing, yes, he's doing great. But if a lead comes in and all of the team knows that, yeah, it might be worth like $500,000. It's your dream client. You need to be prepared when this comes in because you don't want to kind of lose it, right? You want to do your best. With that being said, sales SOPs should be very clear. The deliverables by now should be very clear. The dashboard of his work should be very clear. And the last handoff document should be prepared. Like, okay, what do we do when there's just too many leads and this person cannot work the volume? So in this handoff document, you should have prepared like a sales strategy. He works 40 hours a week. We know that he can handle only 20 calls a week because the rest is like pre-sale preparation, whatever. What can we automate there? Then how can we improve his performance? What's the revenue per employee? And then once you have hit the ceiling and you have automated and optimized everything, then you should, and it should be written in your handoff protocol, then you should start hiring other salespeople. It would really depend on your structure. I think the best way for the person also, like we are speaking that it's like 9 to 12 months into his job, if he's really talented and he really made it, I'd think about promoting him into like sales lead or head of sales and getting him SDRs in place. But that would really depend on the service you're selling, whether it's productized, what are your revenue goals, and so on. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, as I will be posting more of B2B sales videos this year.